to Flavourful Eats. Today I have Matthew Collins joining me. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we're making a
garlic lovers meal.
maybe intriguing. And what we're doing is pasta, stuffed croissant,
Yep,
and a salad.
that's correct.
All right, I'm not going to wait very much longer.
I'm going to recommend that you weigh the ingredients instead of using measuring cups because it tends to work better. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 150 grams of flour. This is just a regular all-purpose flour. I don't know if the camera can see, but I'm trying to be as precise as possible. Oh, that's 149. Gotta get to 150, there we go. All right.
Okay.
Now we are going to add 150 milligrams, or grams, sorry, not milligrams, of semolina flour.
So it's like 1:1, a little heavier than.
Correct. But we're at $2.99. We're gonna go with that. Okay, so we've got all of our flour in the bowl here, and we're going to switch it to that stainless steel bowl over there, so we have a little bit more room
To knead,
Correct.
put it
Hand
together.
that to
And
you.
you need salt.
Yep, so now we are going to add a half a teaspoon of salt into this mix. And we're just gonna mix this up good real quick. Gonna get all of these ingredients together, like so. And then we're gonna make a little just sort of indentation in the middle here. All right, and
Like a little well.
like a little well, yes. So we're gonna add 150 milliliters of just standard water. Right there in the middle. And then some extra virgin olive oil. You can also use avocado oil.
Avocado.
But yes, I prefer, yes, the olive oil. And that's it. That's all we need to get this thing started. So now, I prefer to use these gloves just because it helps so that the flour doesn't stick to your hands. And we're just gonna mix this all together and get this going so that we can get it to a point where it starts to come together.
You know, different flour sometimes need more or less liquid, right?
Sometimes, yes, like this here.
Semolina will absorb more water.
Correct.
As opposed
And so, as you can see, this actually is a little wet. So
yes, so you need that.
this needs a little bit more flour because, as you can see, it's just a little too doughy. So we're just gonna add. I'm just gonna pour a little bit of extra of the semolina. And really, with the all-purpose flour, you can't really go wrong with the flour because when you start kneading it out, you're adding flour into the dough. So
And like I said, different flours take different amount of liquid, so that might just.
it gives it a little bit better texture and flavor. You could use all flour if you wanted to use all flour. This recipe works the exact same way. So this is pretty much ready to go. It's got some consistency. It's holding. And we're going to be adding some more flour to it once we start rolling
When
it
you
out
start
as well.
rolling, yes.
But so the next thing that we need to do is we're going to grab some saran wrap, and I'm just going to wrap this in a ball. We're going to put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. You can leave it in there longer if you want, but you need it to refrigerate for about 30 minutes just to give it some consistency so that it will kind of hold up so when you go to form it, so that is ready to go. So we're going to put that in the refrigerator while we're making all the other stuff, and
Yes, absolutely.
on to the next thing. Okay, so step number 2, we're going to make the inside stuffing that we put inside the croissants. And these are vegan croissants, by the way. So
Okay.
I get them from Trader Joe's, and they come in a can, and we'll get to that once this is all made.
Yeah.
But so right now we're just gonna make the inside. So this is a mushroom, garlic, onion combination that I saute down to kind of a caramelized consistency. So we're gonna start with 3 tablespoons of butter. Just rough numbers here.
For 1 pallet of mushroom.
And So these are already sliced mushrooms. You obviously, if you have fresh mushrooms, you want to slice them either way. So we're going to put those in, get that going. All right. So then we're just going to do about a half of an onion. Okay. I prefer a yellow onion because the yellow onion is a little sweeter. It's not quite as tangy as the white onion. You can use a white onion. It's just that I prefer the yellow onion because it's a sweeter onion. Now, I like to slice this up and then use my handy dandy hand food processor.
Hand food processor.
That's correct. So we're just going to throw all of that in here, and this thing chops it up beautifully. As you can see,
happy to see this.
It chops it up super fine, which is what I like. Is we're going to add 3 cloves of garlic. I throw that in with the onions, and it chops it up
nice and fine.
Nice and fine. Throw that in here. We are gonna, we might need a little bit more butter, but let's see. So this is just going to saute. So I like to cook at hot temperatures, and because it will cook a little bit faster, but you got to stay on top of it. So I'm just going to add a little, because we're going to have a little bit of extra left over, so you could use this for toppings or any of that kind of stuff. But because it doesn't take a lot for.
So on top of that garlic and onion, you're adding what powder?
I'm adding a little bit more garlic powder. This is probably like a half a teaspoon. Okay. And
that is why it's a garlic.
That's right. And about a half a teaspoon of onion powder.
So most people go for salt and pepper. You go for garlic and onion.
I am garlic and onion for sure. Yes.
Oh, it smells delicious out here.
So we're going to let this sit and cook for a few minutes, stirring it occasionally. Can't forget about it, because if we do, it will start to burn. But as you can see right here, there's quite a bit of liquid in here, and I want all of that to cook down. Okay, and as that starts to cook down, it will start to caramelize it. The mushrooms will start to turn kind of a dark brown, and same thing with the onions. And that will be like the perfect consistency of what we're looking for, because it changes the flavor when you get it to that point. But you have to be careful, because like I said, it will burn on you very quickly, so you just have to make sure that you're watching it.
So for those that are following an SOS diet, there is no salt, no oil, no sugar.
Yes.
This can be fried with water. You
Sure.
put a little bit of water and use that, but I mean with the onion and mushroom, it already has a fair amount of water.
Correct. So,
but if you still think it's catching a little bit, you put either broth or water.
That's
and
correct.
you stir fry that very lightly, and you get it to be consistency with the thing that you like. And you can still add the other things. Garlic and onion are fantastic for your health.
yes. And if you're using a non-stick pan like this, you really don't need the butter. It just kind of just adds a little bit of extra flavor.
That's what we're going to the flavor.
But if we're constantly stirring it, it doesn't give it the opportunity to brown. So we gotta just stir it, let it sit for a couple of minutes, kind of watch it, stir it again, and then as you'll see, you'll start to see all of that browning that starts to happen. So as you can see from this, you can see on the camera right there, our liquid is pretty much gone. And we're really starting to get some of that brownness, and I like it to go even further.
So really caramelized.
Really caramelized. You could stop here if you wanted to. This would be good. I like to just kick it up a little bit.
And this
more.
is easier for you to put it anyway, because when there's liquid, it's hard to roll out.
See, that one's got just a little bit of burnness to it. It's not burnt. It's just it's starting to caramelize.
Crispin.
Yes, and it doesn't smell burnt. So that's really kind of how you can tell. So all right, I think this is looking pretty good. We're turning this off. We're gonna let this cool a little bit, because what we're gonna do is move this now that we got our mushroom stuffing where we're ready to go, where we want it, we are going to use, these are from Trader Joe's. These are organic crescent rolls.
Can you believe it's organic too?
I know. Organic, vegan-friendly crescent rolls. So,
Wow.
see, they just pop on their own. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, they don't come really like looking like, good to see.
Yep, so now, the only challenge that we got is we got to find the start.
There we go.
It's right there.
But if one wants to make their own pastry, you can.
You absolutely could make your own. Yep. And so really we're just trying to spread these out. We're going to keep them in their natural triangular shape. Even in the short period of time that these have been sort of sitting out, how sticky they get. It's pretty quick, right? So you have to work fairly quickly. And like here, it's kind of pulling apart. So you know what? Just kind of
Fix it up.
stick it together. This is our mushrooms that has cooked all the way down. And as you can see, we went from a big pile to a very small pile, getting all of that liquid out of it. Now, and it's perfect consistency, it's perfect color. Like this is exactly what you want it to be, okay? So we're just gonna take this and we're going to put it back into our handy dandy hand food processor. Say that 3 times fast.
It's a lot of fun.
So what we're gonna do is put this in here. While she's doing that, we're just gonna process this up. Give it a couple spins. So as you can see, I like it to be chopped up just a little bit more. Give it a shake. And there we go. So now that we have our mushroom all diced up and sliced, chopped up good and fine, now for the fun part.
Absolute fun.
So, and this really, it doesn't take a lot, okay? I know we have a lot, we're gonna have a lot left over. But this tastes so good that you'll just want to eat it.
Yeah, really, anyway.
But we're just gonna put a little dab, absolutely, on here. And if it comes out on the sides, again, not a big deal, because this is just to give it some flavor. All right, so now all we're gonna do is kind of just use our fingers to kind of bunch that up. And we're just gonna roll this.
Oh.
Okay, just like you were making a croissant. Now, one of the things that you can do is, because these are a little bit long triangles, is you can just fold them up. Okay, it doesn't look pretty necessarily, but you get the gist of what we're trying to accomplish here. We're just really.
You're just going to be rolling it from the edge. Can I help you?
Yep. So then just kind of
like this.
Push it together, you know, so that you can roll. So if you grab the triangle, kind of pull it over.
Oh, I did
and
it
then,
slightly differently. Is that okay?
Nope, it's all good.
Okay, and then now, what do you want me to do with this?
Once you have it all rolled, you can put it on the pan. Yep, see, perfect.
Does it rise a lot?
Surprisingly, it will start to rise once it starts to bake.
Yes. Okay.
They will expand more than you think, actually.
Okay,
So,
we keep an eye. It's what, 9 inches, 10 inches?
Yes. And so we're gonna cook these to the instructions, which I believe this is 375 or 350 for. It says 10 to 13 minutes. Always go on the low end. Start with 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And check them so that you don't burn them.
Okay.
And so these, and then once these come out of the oven, I'll show you the one last little step to make them. That's my step. Yes.
All right. So that's our croissant before it goes into the oven.
Yep.
Or like you said in America, it's crescent rolls.
Crescent rolls. Yes.
Crescent rolls.
That's correct.
All done.
Okay, on to the next thing. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the sauces, and so I'm gonna use 28 ounce of crushed tomatoes. You certainly can make your own if you want to make crushed tomatoes, but this makes it go a little bit. And it has to be crushed tomatoes.
Crushed, yes.
Yes, it's important from a flavor perspective.
Okay, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I guess I didn't realize the
it's off.
I know it's off. It must have been on.
Hot
So
before, yes. You want to take this out like this? Gotta work a little bit for my food today, right?
So 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Then we're going to add
tomato paste. How many ounces of that?
So with this, this is a 6 ounce, and I use about
half of it.
3/4 of it.
Okay, 4 ounces.
So yeah, about 4 ounces.
It's just to intensify the flavor of tomato.
Yes. So let's turn this back on, and so actually this one I'm going to cook a little bit slower, because really with this, all you're really doing is kind of heating it up. Okay, because you've got your crushed tomatoes, you have the tomato paste, and you're just kind of wanting it to warm up more than anything. And then we're going to start to add all of these herbs into this. Okay, so while that is cooking slowly, all right, so what we got here is basil. Love basil.
Oh, that has to be there, right?
Yes, and gotta have lots of basil in this. Then we got rosemary. So I got like 1.5 sprigs, and some thyme, a little bit of oregano, just a couple sage leaves. You don't need them if you don't have it, but if you have it in the garden,
it's a good
I like to add a little bit of parsley. So with that, we're going to put this into my handy dandy
Did you need more parsley?
chopper.
That's good enough.
And get our rosemary in here. And we're going to
This
add...
smells so wonderful.
Yes,
Fresh herbs.
I love fresh rosemary and thyme, all of that. And same thing with the thyme. I've got about, let's see, 6, 7 sprigs of the thyme. I like to use my fingernails to get it off. It seems to work pretty well. 2 leaf sage. And so oregano. We've got, what would you classify this as?
That's oregano. Oh.
3
little sprigs.
3 sprigs of oregano, fresh oregano.
And if you don't have fresh, you can. Okay to use dry.
Yes.
If you don't have one of the herbs, you can do with others. Just Italian blend can work too.
Yes, if you have like dried Italian seasonings, that works great. I'd use about probably about a tablespoon of that. Okay, so we're gonna chop this up good, very finely chopped. Okay, so you can see how finely chopped that is. And
so you've been cooking for a long time.
I have been cooking, yes, for a long time. I enjoy cooking. I like to bake as well. And you can leave that. So we're going to take 3 and a small cloves of garlic, and we're going to put that in the chopper. 3.5 garlic cloves in here. Chop it up here.
Interesting, is this 3.5?
Well, the reason why is...
Leftover somewhere else.
Smell that.
I can smell it. I don't need to be close by. It's just...
But we're also making a white sauce that also has cloves of garlic in it. So it's going to have plenty of garlic, yes. You could do 4, you could do 3.
Yes,
Again, I happen to have a small one there, so I said 3.5 garlic cloves. But 3 to 4, I would say, is a reasonable number. So we've added our garlic to this.
It's just amazing.
We're going to add about a half a teaspoon of garlic and onion powder to this.
It's just delicious.
So this is pretty much, we're going to add
Salt.
just a pinch of salt. You do not need a lot of salt here. So just a pinch. You can always add salt at the end, so I don't want to get it ever too salty. Okay, So this is nice and warm, and it's pretty much ready to go as this. Now, the nice thing about this is this can be used for a pizza sauce. It can be used for lasagna. It can be just a standard marinara. Or you could even just serve the pasta with just this sauce. But today, we're gonna kick it up a notch and we're gonna add a vegan Alfredo sauce. So, we're gonna set this. The one thing that I wanna add, so I'm gonna add some cayenne pepper. This is totally optional. This is, again, a matter of preference. You can do anywhere from a...
Are you adding to this?
So I'm gonna add it to the red sauce, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna do about
maybe a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon?
Maybe half a teaspoon. Okay. That just gives it, now you can also use red pepper flakes, but that's just gonna give it a little kick. I don't want it to be super spicy, but you want a little bit of a kick. So now with the Alfredo sauce, so this is a heavy whipping cream that is dairy free. So we're gonna take this. Cloves. I know, let's see, we got 4 good sized cloves. Okay, we got 4 good cloves right there. Okay, and we're gonna chop this up good. When you saute garlic, like early on, it gets a little bit of acidic, and it can get bitter. However, I find that when I cook it with butter, and so we got our garlic in there. And we're going to add a half stick of butter. We're going to kick this up a notch so this starts to melt. We're going to saute the garlic in this butter. And this is more butter than we need for this amount of garlic, but we need that much butter for the Alfredo. So I'm just trying to flavor this butter with the garlic and for this sauce. And this sauce is super simple, super easy, but again, smell that garlic.
That's just...
It's heaven.
Absolutely.
Heaven. Starting to saute good. Don't want to cook this too long. Don't want it to get too brown.
Bitter garlic.
And then we're just going to add our cream to this. And this is...
consistency looks so much like dairy too.
Right? I mean, this is just like regular cream. So this is a 16 fluid ounce. You're putting about
8 ounces.
8 ounces in there, yep. And we're just gonna stir this and heat this. So
interesting. I wonder if you did frosted cake with that.
I don't know. And we're just heating this and trying to get this will start to thicken up as this starts to cook a little bit here. We're going to add about a teaspoon of onion powder and about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder to this. But I can already feel that it's
thickening. I can see it.
It's starting to thicken. I don't want it to get too thick and too fast. So, oops, wrong cheese.
Using a cup of it?
Yeah, probably about a half a cup of this. Don't need a whole lot of this, just to kind of help thicken this up. And this cheese doesn't melt quite as well as a traditional Parmesan cheese would, but it still has the flavor, and it's got a little bit of that consistency. And as this really starts to cook down, you can already see just how this is starting to thicken up. So I'm going to turn this off. I don't want it to get too hot. And it's okay for this to be sort of running. Now, if you wanted to use this, this again also could be a totally standalone
sauce.
Alfredo sauce that you could put over pasta. The only thing that I would do is I might add a little bit of flour to thicken it up if I was going to serve it straight like this. Yes. But you don't need a lot of flour. As you can see, it's starting to thicken up. It's not quite as runny as we got the next step here, which is the most important. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this red sauce, okay, and we're going to add it
into the Alfredo.
And we're going to not use all of the red sauce. We don't need all of it. I'm just gonna have to eyeball this. Yeah, probably 2/3. We might end up using more. We're just gonna see.
Okay.
So the reason why I like to do this is, so the red sauce traditionally has a little bit more of a acidic bite, to it. And Alfredo can be very rich. And when you combine these two sauces together, it kind of takes the richness away and it takes the bite away, and it gives you a nice, flavorful sauce. And
you can smell all that flavor and everything. That's amazing.
It smells so good. It smells so good. So really, we're just gonna stir this. If you wanted to thin that out, you could use some tomato sauce to kind of thin it out. If you were going to use this as more of a
it's ideal for pizza right now.
Yeah, like for a spaghetti sauce. But because we're adding the Alfredo, which is a little bit thinner, and when we combine the two, we really have a great consistency as far as the sauce goes. So this is pretty much ready to go. So now, our dough has been resting in the refrigerator.
Oh,
so,
wow, you got a serious rolling pin.
Yes, we're gonna put a little bit of flour down here, kind of spread this out. And we're just gonna cut this down the middle. So I like to kind of roll this around in the flour. Then I like to also kind of shape this into a little bit of a square. It's really not gonna end up like a square, but I try to make it, so that I can make the noodles. So one of the challenges that I've had with making pasta is getting it thin enough. If you have a pasta machine, it makes a huge difference. So if you can, the hardest part really is getting the noodles thin enough, because then when you drop them in the water, they thicken up pretty quickly. So yes. So let's just get this, and we're just gonna start rolling this out.
It's a nice soft dough.
So this is actually fairly thin, but you really want it even thinner than this, but that's okay. We are just going to start cutting, because really all I'm doing at this point is just making thin cuts, because I want to make sure that it goes all the way through. But yes, so when you're using a knife, you want to make sure that you roll the knife instead of slice. If you try to slice it, your dough will move on you. I want to get about 6 or 7 pieces together, and you're just going to kind of roll them up in a ball and set them right there ready to go. We'll speed the process up with the pizza cutter. See how, if I can get my lines straight or not. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so like I was saying, if you roll your knife instead of slice, but again, the thinner that you can make your lines,
wow,
the better. You want to do about 6
long ones, and then you
6
make
rows.
like a little nest.
Yep, and then you just kind of, and then what you do is you'll just drop those in. Nope. And I mean, you could use your countertop or a cutting board, any kind. Okay, so
I still didn't get one of them.
Yep. So this is really what, as you can see, the pasta holds up well. Right, we got about 6 noodles. So I like to just kind of make a little pile right there, and it is ready to go. So as you can see too, you were asking about how many people this will serve. We haven't even gotten to the other half.
Yes.
All right, so we're just finishing up the last bit here. We got some nice thin noodles. Just pull those up like so. Wind those up into a little nest. And voila, we have ourselves some pasta.
We look forward to this homemade pasta. Nothing beats that.
Nope. Just want to make sure that they're kind of separated. And we'll just throw them kind of to the side right there. And there we go.
There we go.
All of our piles of pasta ready to go. All right, so now that our pasta is ready, we need a little bit of salt. We'll do salt. And we're just gonna dab just a little dab of olive oil in there. So the salt gives a little extra flavor to the pasta, and the olive oil kind of keeps the pasta from sticking together.
Right.
So all we're really gonna do is, and this is gonna cook fairly fast, is because these have been sitting a little bit longer than maybe they probably should have, but we're gonna just drop these in, and they're gonna sink to the bottom. And as they sink to the bottom and they start to cook, they will start to rise to the top. And that's when you really,
it's ready, right?
That's really when you know that it is done. As you can see, I'm gonna stir this up just a little bit so they kind of don't stick together. So as you can see, our pasta is starting to rise to the top. So that's how we know. And that's how fast pasta cooks. When it's fresh, right? It's literally that fast.
We'll put it in this bowl or
Yep.
another one. There we go, it's done. Wow. Yes, Matt had a lesson in Italy on how to make pasta. Slightly different, I'm assuming. You must have added an egg or something.
Yes, yep. That was in Tuscany is where I did that. Let's see. I think we can we'll just put it all in here, why not? And you know, what's really kind of cool and amazing is how well this pasta stays together after being in the water.
Yes.
Right? Because it's just flour and oil and that's it. And water, and it still, you know, stays together. So it's pretty amazing how that works. Okay, so our croissants are done. They've baked in crescent rolls, yes. And this is really just I like to do this after. Okay.
As soon as it gets
out. Okay. And you don't need a lot. You're just brushing the top of these, and then they can kind of cool a little bit if you want. Sprinkle, and you got to do this fairly quickly so that the garlic powder will stick to the top. You don't need a lot. We're just sprinkling the top, and that's it. Those are ready to go.
Ready to eat. So we just put it in a plate quickly because we got to make a salad now, right?
Yep. So get those on this, and then we'll get the salad going, and we'll be ready to eat. So now that we've got our salad, we got our dressing, we shake that up good. We got our ingredients right here that we made earlier, and we're gonna take, you can use any kind of lettuce, you could use mixed greens, whatever. I like to use a spinach, and we're just gonna put the spinach in. We're just gonna toss all of this in here, like so. Okay. And then, my daughter used to work at Salada, so I learned how to make salads. So we're just gonna take this, pour this over the top.
Your daughter worked at Salada and you learned how to make.
That's right. So I learned how to properly mix a salad. So there you go. Salad is ready to go. All right.
Now we're doing our pasta.
So now we are ready to serve. So we're gonna grab this plate right here. Okay. And then we're gonna take our salad right here. Just get a nice chunk of. Let's pick a pretty one. This one maybe. How about that? Right there. And voila! We have a garlic lover's meal.
Right there.
Right there. Yep.
Right there.
Homemade pasta, a pink sauce with the Alfredo and
red
sauce together.
Thank you so much for putting this lovely meal together.
My pleasure.
I can see it's very delicious as well as wholesome. We have all the categories to make it a nice balanced meal with a little bit of indulgence here.
Yes, a little bit of indulgence, yes.
But amazing eventually.
So, having said that, let's see how I did here, right?
So for presentation purposes, you put the pasta and you toss the sauce over.
Yes.
But for eat easily, we mix the both together.
Correct.
And you're going to give it a try right now.
Yes, perfect. See how we did. Delicious.
and you can make it vegan.
So good. And it is vegan, yes.
And imagine how much of calories you brought it down by.
Yes.
And
So good.
with
Now I'm
that,
going to try it with some of my
mushroom.
extra mushroom.
Oh, I can imagine it's yet another notch.
It's delicious.
Delicious.
It is very good.
And then that really delicious salad.
Before
Oh,
that,
yes.
let me try this. I'm just going to pull this apart, get some of the good stuff. It's so good.
I can.
With that mushroom in there, it is perfect. Little garlic on top. Awesome. And then lastly,
Your vegan cheese. You're going to try and let everybody know what you thought about it, right?
vegan cheese and a little bit of grape. If I can grab it. It's not grabbing very easily.
Maybe you should have went for the
There we go. Perfect.
You've done wonders, and it's, thank you so much for bringing all this to our audience. And this is what we've put together. Some lovely mushrooms to go. Maybe we can put it in the middle.
There you go. Yes, perfect.
Some croissant.
Yep.
Crescent
Stuffed
rolls. Crescent rolls.
Stuffed crescent rolls.
We could
From
do
Trader
it
Joe's.
We could do it from scratch and make our own croissants and put
Absolutely.
it together. So it's
Yes.
not doable. It's doable.
It is doable, yes.
And then we have a delicious salad. It's got all your greens, which is absolutely good for you.
Yes, and you can use any kind of green that you want. I just happen to like spinach.
That's right. And then we've got the pasta.
Yes,
So a very garlicky.
yes. It's a garlic lover's pasta.
Garlic loves pasta. Just looks like straight from Italy.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I did my best.
You
so.
did. You did your best,
Yes.
and it looks very good. And thank you so much for joining me on Flavourful Eats.
Yes, thank you for having me. This has been awesome. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So this is great. I love sharing my my recipes. So, and thank you for challenging me to doing all of this. This is great.
No, you're more than welcome, and thank you so much for taking up the challenge and doing the best. As I can see, you went out of the way to get. I would have not tried the cream like you did.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would have used cashew nuts.
Look how well it
But you
worked.
said you preferred this over the cashew
I
nuts.
did. I tried it with the cashew nuts, and this was 10 times better.
Okay.
So I highly recommend the plant-based cream versus using the cashew, because I did try it and it just wasn't the same.
Well, thanks once again. Matthew Collins.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm your host, Hamsha Naidoo. Till we meet again, take care, bye-bye, and hope you try and enjoy and let us know what you think about it.